Beneath the veil of Blackwood Asylum, Lena Harper had always been drawn to the macabre and the mysterious. As a dedicated journalist for the Willow Creek Gazette, she thrived on uncovering the hidden truths that lurked in the forgotten corners of her small town. When she received an anonymous tip about Blackwood Asylum, a long-abandoned psychiatric hospital rumored to be haunted, her interest was instantly piqued. Blackwood Asylum stood on the outskirts of Willow Creek, its imposing structure surrounded by overgrown ivy and encroaching wilderness. Once a beacon of hope for those battling mental illness, it had been shuttered abruptly in the late 1980s after a series of unexplained patient deaths and unsettling incidents. The local legend spoke of restless spirits, shadowy figures, and the lingering trauma of its former inhabitants. Determined to delve into the asylum's dark history, Lena decided to visit the site. She packed her essentials: a flashlight, a notebook, her trusty camera, and recording equipment. As dusk settled over Willow Creek, she set out toward Blackwood Asylum, the setting sun casting long, eerie shadows across the landscape. The gates of Blackwood Asylum creaked ominously as Lena pushed them open, the sound echoing through the silent grounds. The main building loomed ahead, its once grand facade now marred by decay and neglect. Windows were shattered, doors hung ajar, and the air was thick with the scent of mold and dampness. Lena approached the entrance, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. She glanced around, half expecting to see someone or something lurking in the darkness. The only movement came from the rustling leaves and the distant hoot of an owl. Inside, the asylum was a labyrinth of long, narrow hallways and large, decaying rooms. The remnants of furniture lay scattered across the floors, covered in dust and cobwebs. Lena switched on her flashlight, the beam cutting through the darkness and revealing the desolate interior. She made her way to the central lobby, where a grand staircase led to the upper floors. As she ascended the stairs, she noticed strange symbols etched into the walls: spirals, crosses, and other arcane markings that seemed to pulsate with an unseen energy. The air grew colder, and an oppressive silence settled over the space. Reaching the top of the staircase, Lena entered what was once the main ward. The room was vast, with high ceilings and rows of beds that now lay empty and abandoned. She could almost hear the echoes of the past, the distant cries of patients, the footsteps of staff, the whispered conversations that once filled the air. Setting up her recording equipment, Lena began documenting her exploration. She walked down the corridor, her flashlight illuminating the faded paintings and tattered curtains that adorned the walls. Each step seemed to stir the lingering spirits of the asylum, the atmosphere growing increasingly heavy with unspoken sorrow and rage. As she entered one of the therapy rooms, Lena felt a sudden chill run down her spine. The room was stark, with a large window that looked out onto the overgrown grounds. In the center stood an old, ornate desk, its surface covered in dust and scattered papers. Lena approached cautiously, her curiosity getting the better of her fear. She reached out to pick up a faded photograph, revealing an image of the Ravenscroft family, the esteemed proprietors of Blackwood Asylum. Their stern faces and formal attire suggested a sense of authority and control, but Lena sensed an undercurrent of hidden pain in their eyes. Suddenly, the temperature in the room dropped further, and the faint sound of footsteps echoed down the hall. Lena's flashlight flickered, casting fleeting shadows that danced along the walls. Her heart raced as she heard a soft, sorrowful whisper, "Help us." Lena spun around, trying to locate the source of the whisper. The room appeared empty, save for the photograph she held. She felt an undeniable presence, a feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. Determined to uncover the truth, she pressed on. moving deeper into the asylum. She entered the old administration office where she found stacks of records and journals detailing the day-to-day operations of Blackwood Asylum. Among the papers, Lena discovered a series of patient logs that chronicled the increasing tension and deteriorating conditions within the facility. The entries became more erratic and fearful as the years went by, hinting at experiments gone wrong and patients pushed to their breaking points. One log stood out. March 14th, 1987. Today marks another night of restless spirits roaming the halls. Patients report seeing shadows that move on their own, whispering secrets that drive them to madness. Dr. Ravenscroft insists it's the result of our latest treatments, but I fear something far more sinister is at play. Lena felt a chill as she read the entry. It became clear that the asylum had been a site of intense psychological and possibly supernatural turmoil. She continued her search, driven by a mix of professional duty and personal fascination. As she ventured into the basement, the air grew thick with humidity, and the oppressive silence was broken only by the distant drip of water. The basement housed the asylum's mechanical systems and storage areas, but Lena's flashlight revealed signs of something more. Cryptic symbols drawn in the damp walls, remnants of old rituals perhaps meant to control the spirits that plagued the facility. Suddenly, Lena's flashlight illuminated a doorway at the far end of the basement. Beyond it lay a room that seemed untouched by time, a stark contrast to the rest of the dilapidated asylum. The room was small, with a high ceiling and a single bed bolted to the floor. On the bed lay an old, leather-bound journal, its pages yellowed and brittle. Lena carefully picked up the journal, feeling a surge of anticipation. She flipped it open, revealing handwritten entries that belonged to Dr. Henry Ravenscroft himself. June 2nd, 1987. The spirits are growing stronger. Tonight we must attempt the ritual to bind them. If successful, we can restore peace to Blackwood Asylum and prove the efficacy of our treatments. The entries continued, detailing the preparations for the ritual, the assembling of artifacts, and the mounting unease among the staff and patients. The final entry was abrupt and ominous. October 31st, 1987. The ritual began as planned, but something went horribly wrong. The shadows became tangible, and the spirits unleashed their fury. We are trapped. There is no escape. Lena's hands trembled as she closed the journal. The weight of the Ravenscroft family's fate pressed heavily upon her. She realized that the ritual meant to bind the spirits had instead given them the power to roam freely, feeding off the fear and despair of those within the asylum. As she prepared to leave, Lena heard a loud crash from upstairs, followed by the sound of frantic footsteps. She grabbed her equipment and made her way back to the main ward, the oppressive atmosphere intensifying with every step. Back in the main ward, Lena felt the walls closing in around her. The whispers grew louder, more urgent, and shadows moved independently of any light source. Her recorder picked up the faint sounds of mournful wails and disembodied voices pleading for help. Suddenly the room plunged into darkness as her flashlight died. Panic surged through her as she fumbled to turn it back on, but the batteries seemed to drain faster than usual. In the pitch black, Lena could hear the whispers transforming into anguished cries. "Help us! Set us free!" Desperate, she tried to call out, her voice barely a whisper. "Is someone there? Please, help me!" But her plea was met with only silence and the sound of her own ragged breathing. A chilling presence enveloped her, and she felt an invisible force pressing down on her chest. Lena struggled to breathe, her mind racing with fear and confusion. She fought to maintain her composure, recalling the journal's instructions about the ritual and the need for purity of intent. Summoning her courage, Lena remembered the notes she had taken from the journal. She realized that to quell the spirits, she needed to perform a counter-ritual, one that would release the trapped souls and break the cycle of fear that bound them to Blackwood Asylum. With her flashlight flickering back to life, Lena made her way to the room where the original ritual had been performed. The grand library, now filled with the ghosts of the past, awaited her. She arranged the artifacts she had found in the basement, candles, herbs, and symbols, from the Ravenscroft journal in the precise pattern described in the final entry. Taking a deep breath, Lena began to chant the counter-ritual, her voice steady despite the overwhelming presence that sought to silence her. The air around her grew thick with energy, the shadows swirling and converging towards her as if resisting her efforts. As she continued the incantation, the whispers transformed into a cacophony of screams and cries, the spirits of the asylum rebelling against her intrusion. Lena felt the oppressive force intensify, threatening to consume her, but she pressed on, fueled by a determination to bring peace to the restless souls. In the midst of the ritual, a towering shadow materialized before her, the figure of Dr. Henry Ravenscroft, his face twisted in anguish and rage. His presence was both commanding and terrifying, a manifestation of the very darkness Lena sought to dispel. "You cannot undo what has been done," Dr. Ravenscroft's voice boomed, reverberating through the room. "The spirits are bound by their torment, and I am their keeper. They need their suffering to sustain the asylum." Lena stood her ground, her voice unwavering. "No, you don't understand. They deserve peace. Let us help you release them." Dr. Ravenscroft's eyes burned with malevolent intensity. "Peace? They are bound by their pain and fear. Without it, the asylum will crumble, and the secrets will be lost to time." As the two stood in opposition, the room seemed to pulsate with dark energy, the very fabric of reality warping around them. Lena felt the weight of countless sorrows pressing down on her, but she refused to back down. Recalling a passage from the Ravenscroft journal, Lena began to speak words of compassion and forgiveness, acknowledging the pain that bound the spirits and the doctor's own torment. She reached out to him, offering understanding and a path to redemption. "Henry, you've been carrying this burden for so long. Let us help you find peace. The spirits need closure, and you deserve healing too." The confrontation reached its zenith as Lena's words pierced through the darkness. Dr. Ravenscroft's form began to waver, the rage in his eyes softening into sorrow. The shadows around them flickered and dissipated, the oppressive energy giving way to a profound sense of release. With a final anguished cry, Dr. Ravenscroft faded into the ether, the spirits of Blackwood Asylum finally finding the peace they had long been denied. The mansion itself seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, the darkness lifting and sunlight streaming through the once shuttered windows. As dawn broke over Willow Creek, Lena stood outside Blackwood Asylum, the first light of day casting a warm glow over the now serene grounds. The once ominous mansion was no longer a place of fear, but a symbol of redemption and healing. Lena packed her equipment, her mind racing with the events of the past night. She felt a deep sense of accomplishment and a newfound understanding of the power of empathy and compassion in overcoming darkness. She returned to the town, eager to share her story. The article she wrote for the Willow Creek Gazette detailed her harrowing experience, the tragic history of Blackwood Asylum, and the importance of acknowledging and addressing past traumas. Her words resonated deeply with the community, bringing closure to those who had long been haunted by the asylum's legacy. Months passed, and Willow Creek began to heal. Blackwood Asylum, once abandoned and feared, was transformed into a historical site dedicated to mental health awareness and the importance of compassionate care. Lena continued her work, her reputation as a fearless journalist solidified by her brave exploration of the asylum's secrets. However, on quiet nights, Lena couldn't help but feel that the spirits of Blackwood Asylum still lingered, watching over the mansion with a protective presence. Occasionally she would hear faint whispers carried by the wind, a reminder of the lives lost and the journey toward healing. One evening, as Lena sat in her study reviewing her latest articles, she noticed a shadow move across her room. She turned, heart pounding, but saw nothing, just the stillness of her home. The whispers returned, softer this time, almost like a lullaby. "Thank you." Lena smiled, feeling a sense of peace wash over her. She knew that while the shadows of the past would always be a part of Willow Creek, the town had found a way to honor and remember, ensuring that the echoes of Blackwood Asylum would serve as a beacon of hope and compassion. Years later, Lena continued to explore the haunted and mysterious, her experiences at Blackwood Asylum shaping her approach to storytelling. She established a foundation dedicated to preserving the histories of places like Ravenwood Hall and Blackwood Asylum, ensuring that their stories were told with respect and empathy. As she walked through the now vibrant gardens of Blackwood Asylum, Lena felt a deep connection to the spirits she had helped set free. The mansion stood as a testament to the enduring power of truth and the importance of confronting and healing from past traumas. One crisp autumn evening, as Lena gazed upon the mansion under a full moon, she felt a gentle breeze and heard a familiar whisper carried by the wind. "Remember us." She nodded, understanding that some stories never truly end. They evolve and continue to inspire those who seek to uncover the truths hidden beneath the veil of darkness. Beneath the Veil of Blackwood Asylum delves deeper into the realms of supernatural horror, blending intense psychological elements with eerie, atmospheric details. Lena Harper's journey not only uncovers the tragic history of Blackwood Asylum, but also highlights the power of empathy and understanding in overcoming dark forces. The story's intricate plot, compelling characters, and haunting settings are designed to captivate and terrify your No Sleep Tales YouTube audience, leaving them eager for more spine-chilling narratives. Thank you for immersing yourself in Beneath the Veil of Blackwood Asylum. If this story sent chills down your spine, subscribe to No Sleep Tales on YouTube for more spine-tingling narratives. Share your thoughts and let me know what supernatural mysteries you'd like to hear next.